Thank you very much for joining us here on this Tuesday. You're watching Business at 9 and I'm Nivedna Prabhu. Let's begin with the top focus. Considering the fact that we're learning that Swiggy is all set to sell its stake Rapido in a deal worth about 2,400 crore to Prosus and Westbridge Capital. Anjali, what are we gathering on this?
Swiggy's board has approved the sale of its stake in Rapido 11.8% to Westbridge and Prosus. Now this will involve a total deal size of around 2,400 crore that will be added to the company's coffers. The first deal, which is with Prosus, is about a 1,968 crore rupee deal wherein Swiggy will sell 10 equity shares and 1,63,990 Series D CCPS in Rapido to Prosus. And as a part of the second deal, Swiggy will sell 35,958 Series D CCPS to Setu AIF, which will be a cumulative 431.5 crore rupee deal. This puts the entire valuation of Swiggy's stake in Rapido to 2,400 crores, a stake that Swiggy bought back in 2022. And Swiggy is going to receive a 2.5x return on that investment. Now, Swiggy has earlier spoken about the rationale behind this stake sale, given that Rapido has now entered the food delivery business, meaning that this would become a direct conflict of interest with its investment in Rapido, which is why the company has gone ahead and divested its stake in Rapido, which has launched its own food delivery arm called Only. However, that's not the only update that came from Swiggy. Another approval that came from the board was for the sale and transfer of the quick commerce arm of Instamart to its subsidiary. Now, Swiggy is having off its quick commerce business Instamart, which will be transferred to Swiggy Instamart Private Limited via a slump sale. To give you some context, Instamart contributed over 2,000 crore rupees in revenue in FY25, which is about 24% of the standalone revenue for Swiggy. However, the net worth of Instamart undertaking stood at a negative of around less than 300 crore as of March 31st, 2025. Now, by doing this slump sale, there is not going to be any difference operationally, but as per a statement that has come from a Swiggy spokesperson, Instamart has emerged from the shadow of Swiggy's food business to become a standalone brand. That is the rationale behind this sale and purchase. Now, the subsidiary structure is designed to support this growth momentum by providing sharper strategic focus, operational flexibility, and enhanced transparency, while ensuring full ownership remains with the listed parent company. That's the statement coming in from the Swiggy spokesperson. So those are the two big updates from Swiggy. One is the stake sale in its stake in Rapido, and the other is in Swiggy having off its quick commerce business into a standalone subsidiary.
Right, Anjali. In fact, as you pointed out, you're clearly tracking more for us. Also, given the fact that we know the festive season has already begun. But what is that looking like for quick commerce and e-commerce platforms? Because they have clearly dialed up the discounts as festive fever takes over. Whether you're talking about Amazon, Flipkart, they've also posted the record sales on the first day, Anjali. And I'm sure while you're tracking this, some interesting insights have come through. What are the highlights?
Right, well, it's that time of the year where the biggest e-commerce companies unveil their flagship sales. Amazon and Flipkart started their respective flagship sales for all of their users on September 23rd. They had given early access to their loyalty members on September 22nd. But now these are going to be the sales that will see the highest offers coming in from both of these companies, as well as all other quick commerce companies that are also going big on discounts this festive season. The categories in focus this time around are electronics, phones, daily essentials, as well as beauty. And with the GST rate cuts coming in, that is also something that is prompting people to shop more. In fact, across e-commerce websites, we can see call-outs for customers to make the most out of these GST benefits, with the GST benefits being highlighted on individual products as well. So both the e-commerce companies and a bunch of quick commerce companies are gearing up for a festive season with a bunch of offers. However, some customers did point out the price discrepancies and automatic cancellations on Flipkart for the Big Billion Days, where prices that were shown in advertisements were not what was found on the website, as well as automatic cancellations that were done by the company or at the seller's end, that led to a lot of annoyance at the end of the customers. The social media is flooded with such complaints as well. But taking a quick look at quick commerce now, quick commerce companies are going all in on discounts this festive season, now that we have more than 3 players or more than 4 players as we had in the previous years. Given all of this, Swiggy in fact launched the Quick India movement, which started on September 19th and will continue till September 28th. Now this is the first instance of a quick commerce company having a long drawn festive sale similar to what we see on e-commerce websites previously. Now this is the first instance we're seeing something like that happen in the quick commerce world. In fact, on September 20th, which was the first day after Swiggy Instamart launched this sale, they came out with some numbers. The overall orders crossed their highest ever volumes by the end of the first day of the sale. Smartphones and phones order grew 20x in the first 2 hours of the sale, and earbuds also saw a 30x growth. So clearly electronics will remain the focus. We also saw some sales coming in from Zepto, which ran the fastest sale ever from September 11th to September 20th. In fact, Flipkart Minutes also participated in its parents' Big Billion Days, and some numbers coming in from the first day of that sale. They participated in their parents' early access to the Big Billion Day sale. They recorded over 45 lakh unique visitors on the platform and a 2x rise in order volumes, and the highest selling item on Flipkart Minutes was the iPhone 16. Now, as per some data, the e-commerce sales are expected to surpass 1,20,000 crore rupees, and that's a 27% growth from previous year in terms of e-commerce sales. And out of this, quick commerce is expected to see about $1.6 billion of sales in this festive season. So those are the key expectations that we were penciling in, and the early sales data from all of these quick commerce and e-commerce companies also signal towards a festive season that is going to see a big growth in the order volumes as well as the sales growth.
All right, as far as how the immediate effect of GST rate cuts is concerned, the auto sector is no different. In fact, it's already seen a bumper start on day one, given the fact that, of course, coincided with Navratri as well. But when you're talking about this sector, whether it's Hyundai or Maruti Suzuki India, they've clearly already spoken about how it's been a massive response. But what does this mean in the larger aspect for the auto world? My colleague Shrishti puts that into perspective. Listen to her.
Well, yes, auto majors have come out with their announcements with respect to the day one of the excitement that has been seen with respect to the inquiries as well as booking. Let's start with the dealer Maruti Suzuki, wherein the company has said that they have received almost 80,000 inquiries on the day one of the GST 2.0 rollout, wherein 25,000 deliveries have been made just on the day one, and they expect that number to hit 30,000 soon. And along with that, they're also saying that they haven't seen such a phenomenon in the last 35 years. So that's about the leader Maruti Suzuki. Along with that, we have also announcements coming in from Hyundai, where they have also said that they have registered dealer billings of almost 11,000 units just on the day one, and they are quite optimistic that going ahead the festive season will pan out to be quite very good. And they're also saying that this is the highest single day bookings, or rather the billings that have been done in the last 5 years. So again, a multi-year record is what these companies have registered. Along with that, Tata Motors have also come out with exciting numbers, because on the day one they do say that for the Indian markets they have recorded 10,000 deliveries, 25,000 plus inquiries on the day one of Navratri, making it a strong start of the festive season sale. So yes, of course, the excitement is all about autos.
All right, Shrishti, thank you for joining us with that. But let's also talk about how ahead of the festive season, high-performance electric motorcycle startup Ultraviolet has launched its segment-agnostic crossover product, the X47. In fact, the bike is making heads turn by coming with an inbuilt radar and anti-collision tech, a first-in-class feature. My colleague Jude Sanith had the opportunity to catch up with the CEO of the TVS Zoho and Qualcomm-backed startup to talk distribution, funding, growth, and as well as how it looks for EVs. Let's listen in.
We launched the F77 in the sports segment. With that, we've scaled from one city in Bangalore to now 30 cities across India. We are also the first electric motorcycle company to go global. We are now retailing in Europe as well. Deliveries have started in Europe. Very high demand across France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, UK, etc. Now, for us, on a commercial sense, this, of course, is going to widen the spectrum of users, both from a price band perspective as well as a segment of usage perspective. And I think we look to be on track to do about 10,000 vehicles by end of fiscal year.
All right. Interesting. And in terms of market share as well, I know for a fact that it's only been a few years now. There's so much way to go. But what is the strategy to expand market really and presence on the ground?
So the way we look at it, we've got most of the people have built products. We built platforms. The trade-off is that it's taken longer. But the good part is we've got all of the tech in place to scale rapidly. So motorcycles predominantly come in street motorcycles, sport, adventure, roadsters, and of course we have with the crossover something that cuts through. And with scooters, we've also launched the Tesseract, which is more of an urban tech-loaded scooter with more performance and competition. Scooters also should morph into a couple of categories in terms of scooters. So we are on track to have about 6 different vehicle segments live in 24 to 36 months. That's where...
Right. Let's talk about your funding plans for a brand. I know for a fact that you've raised close to 70 million now, some marquee investors on board, including the likes of TVS, Zoho. What's the funding pipeline looking like going forward? Do you have more names, and how much funds do you plan to raise in the near to medium term?
So, yeah, like you said, we've got some very, very excited investors backing us. TVS, then Specially Invest, then the Zoho Group from Kumar Bembu and Sridhar Bembu. Tech in India is what they're passionate about. Of course, recently the XOR Group with the Lingoto arm, with Qualcomm Ventures coming in, and now with the TDK Group as well. We've got a lot of folks who are strategically interested in progressing technology and electrification. Right? So I think that helps us. We've got a good sounding board as well. In terms of further investments, of course, the industry is capital intensive. We've been very frugal though. You spoke about 70 million. There are no other companies on the planet that have gotten 3 products on the road and 2 more in the pipeline with just 70 million. So we've been extremely capital efficient, and kudos to the team. I think it all comes down to the people innovating real time. Of course, there will be further capital raises, and I think from a growth perspective, probably target an IPO in post 24 months from now, once we have multiple segments in India plus 2 global markets running well oiled.
Right. And in the run up to the IPO, is there a funding number that you have in mind, money that you'd like to raise?
I mean, of course, I can't put a number to on the table today, but there would be some raise happening.
All right, circling back to what we did see with the festive season about the car segment as well. Of course, in the auto aspect, I had the opportunity to catch up in an exclusive conversation with Lakshmi Subbaraj, Director Sales of JSW MG Motor India, who said that there's been a 90% uptick in bookings on day one of Navratri. In fact, he's spoken about the other aspects that we can look forward to as far as this positive momentum is concerned for the auto world. Let's listen into that conversation.
Household looks at their monthly P&L account, and so does mine. And you can see that with the changes in the GST which has been affected, the consumer, every household has got more purchasing power. And that should enable customers to move up the value chain and look at products which they've not considered before. And these changes have made vehicles more affordable, and also other products across the economy, products across the household get more cheaper, which puts more cash in the household for them to look at car buying as one such option.
Absolutely, because for some family which would have had perhaps a lower budget, now that can be rejigged. But I want to get your attention to the fact that, Mr. Subbaraj, the GST cut clearly has also made your vehicles more affordable with the reductions that we've seen. In fact, going all the way to 3.04 lakh is what we understand. But how do you see this influencing consumer sentiment and, of course, family purchasing decisions in this segment? Because do you believe this policy change will lead to a shift in consumer preferences as well?
we do. Like if you look at our ICE range, the benefit starts from 54,000 on the Aster and moves up to 3.04 lakhs on the Gloucester. So today the Aster is at a very, very affordable price point of 9.65 lakhs. So any consumer who's looking at the high-end hatches could look at the Aster, and the product is more affordable than today. And customer could have the range of tech, high tech, and the safety features that we offer.
Jio BlackRock has launched its first ever active equity flexicap fund today. My colleague Anurag Joshi caught up with Sid Swaminathan, CEO of Jio BlackRock AMC, to discuss about the launch of new fund and how India's mutual fund market is evolving. Listen in.
We see this as a very unique market, from a global perspective in terms of the potential, the huge potential that exists right now. And there's a combination of factors that are at play here, right? So the more macro kind of factors, when you think about overall GDP growth, productivity, the demographics, these are all very, very strong tailwinds for India, and that's a global consensus right now. And then when you kind of go one level deeper and look at the more macro factors, such as where the participation is of individuals in the investments landscape, how that is trending. It's it's at a low base, but it's starting to trend up. And then you project that forward, you see the immense potential there is for the country. So at this point in time, for BlackRock to come to India and then partner with Jio, very importantly, which has a very deep understanding of the Indian consumer, is a unique opportunity, and that's why we are very excited to be here as part of this joint venture.
Right. BlackRock has also entered the market at a time the AMC business is seeing phenomenal growth.
Yep.
In terms of your projections, how do you see the asset management business in India evolving in the coming years?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's grown so quickly in the last few years, and I know we've just crossed over 75 trillion in assets. But I still think there is a lot more room to go. So in the next 5 to 7 years, this could be 2 to 3x from where we are right now. If you combine both the actual growth in the market, the beta itself, as well as all this potential of the people who are not yet in the markets moving from more of a saving mindset to an investing mindset, I can easily see this getting 2 to 3x from here.
Sure. Jio BlackRock has launched the first active equity fund. What are the sectors you're optimistic about? You would be looking to target, with the launch of this fund and with the future rollout.
Yeah, it's a good question. This fund actually is very, very much focused on security selection, and I'll explain that if I can. So firstly, we're very excited that it's our first active equity fund. We're bringing a very different investment style, which is systematic active equity, to India, so which leverages a lot of data, technology, AI, combines that with the humans that we have in our teams. But the goal really for this fund is to generate alpha by looking at stock-specific returns. So that's really looking at one company versus another, and that's where the fund is really looking to generate this alpha. So as much as possible, the fund will try to remain sector neutral and look to generate alpha in the security-specific space. Now, this style of investing that we're bringing, again, is very adaptable in terms of how you decide you want to be generating the alpha. So while the first fund that we're launching, the FlexiCap fund, is looking at stock selection, we will be looking at other funds in the future that will be doing more in, let's say, in a sector space.
Time for a quick break. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Business at 9. Time to take a look at what Wall Street is looking like. In fact, it's trading flat. S&P did touch new record and retreats from the high. So those are the numbers that are, of course, looking essentially as far as Dow Jones is concerned, 46,449. It's open in green, and there's a points change of plus 67.96, but a slight uptick was 0.15%. So that's clearly how, at the moment, Dow Jones is looking like, and Wall Street is, in the larger aspect, trading flat. But for now, we leave it at that. Big news coming in from the world of cinema. Jungli Pictures, a studio known to deliver compelling stories like Razi, Talwar, Badai Do, has released its teaser of their next big film, Haq, a hard-hitting story inspired by the landmark Supreme Court judgment of Mohammad Ahmad Khan versus Shah Bano Begum. Jungli Pictures, in association with Insomnia Films and Bareja Studios, has produced Haq. The film stars Yami Gautam and Imran Hashmi in their most powerful avatars yet. Directed by Suparn S. Verma, the film raises a debate that has divided the nation for decades: personal law versus secular law. A fight between a husband and wife becomes a nationwide issue. Haq asks the big questions. Is justice equal for all, and is it time for one nation, one law? So mark your calendars, because Haq releases in theatres on 7th of November 2025. And stay tuned for more updates on this fiery legal drama that promises to question everything we know about justice and equality.
इसलिए कानून हमें भी उसी नजर से देखे जैसे बाकी हिंदुस्तानियों को देखता है।
With that, it's a wrap on this edition. Thank you very much for joining us.